Welcome to Eric's Chase Grid Talk, episode number 14. That's right, number 14. I'm playing some different intro music this time. I don't know why. I guess because I decided I was getting bored with that same other song. But now that I'm listening to it, I don't love this song that much. Kind of average. I'm gonna turn that down, turn it off. Okay, let's jump right into it then. Okie dokie, hold on. Let me put this box somewhere. Alright, gotta clear off my workspace here, because when I'm doing these shows, I get really animated. My hand starts flying all over the place, start bumping into things, crashing into things, and whatnot. So, yeah. Okay. Okay. So, I have nothing to talk about today. That's the problem. I literally just don't. There's nothing really that interesting that happened in NASCAR news this week. So, I'm going to answer your questions. I'm going to spend. This may be a short episode. I don't know yet. But I'm going to be answering a handful of questions. I didn't even get that many questions, I felt like. And a lot of them are kind of they seem kind of, a lot of them are questions I've kind of already answered. But I'll look for around and I'll see what I can answer. I'll talk about some stuff. First, of course, as always, I got to talk about my own personal things. I have updates. I'm actually going to be uploading later tonight. So if you're listening to this Thursday afternoon, by 9 o'clock tonight probably, I don't know what coast you're on, but within the next few hours after I upload this, I will be uploading race number 7, which is Talladega for the Double E Cup Series. So be looking forward to that, especially if you're in the series. It's the second race till the champion is crowned. So we got Talladega here, and then one more race to go, and then we'll know who our champion is. So look forward to that later tonight, and then you'll get to watch that this weekend. I got a Halloween video that I'm also working on right now. It's actually live action. It's a long video. It's going to be around 9-10 minutes long. It's got me and a few of my friends in it. I think it's going to be pretty good. I don't do very many live action videos anymore these days, but this one actually I think looks pretty good, and I think you guys will enjoy it. So that'll be out next week sometime. Also, I know I mentioned a NASCAR parody Halloween race. I know I've been mentioning that, and I know on Monday, just a couple days ago, I said that I wasn't going to do one. I'm not sure yet. Actually, I have had some stuff clear up, so I might end up making one. So I mean, I'm so busy right now, and really, unfortunately, at this point, it's all my fault, because I don't have to make all these videos, but I've kind of done it to myself. So I'm really busy, but hopefully I have time to do that NASCAR parody. So in that case, you'll have, 3 videos coming to you in the next week, along with a couple of Chase Grid talks. Yeah, I might be flooding your inbox, and I apologize for that. But just know, after this week, I'll try to take it a little easier. Okay. So let's see. I got the video open. Let's look at some questions. Let's see if I can find any remotely interesting questions. First one that I see at the very top of the page is from Tony Green. He asks, in this week's race at Martinsville, will Austin Dillon spin? And, okay, well, that's a very, obviously, as you guys are probably all thinking, that's a very specific question. Why is it so specific, sir? Why are you asking specifically about Austin Dillon? What does he have to do with anything? Well, if you read the fine print at last week's race at Talladega, you'll know that Kyle Busch, when he spun out and wrecked pretty early in the race and basically knocked him out of the chase, the reason he spun was because he checked up to avoid a wreck and kind of got run over by Austin Dillon in the 3 car, who wasn't braking nearly as fast. But to answer your question, Tony, I don't think Austin Dillon will spin because Kyle Busch is going to wreck him. I don't think Kyle's going to be that mad at him, because if you look at the replay, you can tell that Kyle Busch is kind of coming down across the racetrack as well. So, I mean, yeah, Austin Dillon, if you're Austin Dillon, you got to avoid him. But it was clearly, it was just an accident. I don't think Kyle's going to get that mad at Austin Dillon. I don't think he's going to take him out. He might race him harder. He might maybe give him a nudge, but he's not going to take him out, I don't think. Oh, something just fell back there. I don't think you guys could hear that, but it scared me. What else? Here's a question from Cameron Tillman. Wait, did he really just send this 30 minutes ago? Okay. Alright, sorry. Anyway, relatively new question. Alright, from Cameron Tillman. Eric, what do you think are the odds for Edwards moving into the Final Four, given that 2 of the next 3 tracks he has 1 or more wins at? And Texas, or he's referring to Texas and Phoenix. Cameron, let's see. I picked Edwards. I can't remember if I even picked Edwards to make it to this round. I think I had him getting eliminated actually, but I'm surprised that he made it to this final 8. He ran well in the chase. He ran well in this last round at least, and I'd say Edwards. I think I'll be honest, especially since Jimmy Johnson, Dale Jr., and Kyle Busch are out. I'm just kind of like Jr. and Johnson. I think a lot of people had in their final 4s, and so the fact that they're now out kind of means a lot of people have at least 2 blank spaces, in their chase. And I look at guys like Hamlin, Newman, Kenseth, Edwards. They all have about an equal shot at making it in. I think Harvick, Logano, and Gordon are all going to be able to make this chase. I think I think that they will. But then that leaves the other 5 guys are all fighting for the last position, and I don't know. And then of course, obviously, it's not a sure thing that Gordon or Logano and Harvick are going to get those spots. I'm just saying it seems likely. Keselowski probably will as well. But I feel like there's a lot. It's very even right now. I felt like the first 2 rounds of this chase, you clearly had a handful of drivers that weren't as good as the others. So obviously they got eliminated. But now this round, I don't know. I mean, I don't think Carl Edwards is as good as Brad Keselowski right now. But that doesn't mean that Edwards won't advance. Because I agree with you. He's won Texas a few times. He's won Phoenix before. He won there earlier this year, in fact. So I would not be surprised if Carl Edwards won this 1-1. I would not be at all and advanced. I don't think he will. If I had to pick my final 4, which I guess I'll mention later, I will not pick him advancing, but I would not be surprised if he did. And now I guess the next question right below it, I'll go ahead and answer it. I guess it kind of just, it's kind of the big question that everyone will be asking me, but I'll answer it now. I don't care. This is from Dakota Lee. Now that the 8-car field is set based on their performances this year and their performances at the tracks through the years, who do you think is going to be the final 4 in Homestead? Dun, dun, dun. Who's going to be the final 4? Which 4 drivers will be eliminated? Which 4 drivers will move on? I'll be honest. I picked Jeff Gordon to win this championship at the beginning of the chase, and he's still advanced. And I'm gonna stick with Gordon. I think Gordon will be the champion, but there's definitely some guys that I think are running a little better than he is right now. But let me just take this step by step. I haven't really thought of this through, but I feel like Jeff Gordon will for sure advance because I think he's gonna win one of the next 3 races. I mean, he's so good at Martinsville. He's always run well at Texas and even Phoenix. I mean, Gordon's good at just about every track. You know what I mean? So he's exceptionally good at Martinsville. So I'm picking him to win Martinsville this weekend. By the way, I don't know if that's a question on here, but I do think that Gordon will win at Martinsville this weekend. The other 3 spots. I do think that Brad Keselowski will advance, mainly because I think there's a good chance he'll win Texas. And if that's the case, I don't have Joey Logano winning Phoenix. I have Harvick winning Phoenix. So there's 3 right there. I have Gordon, Keselowski, and Harvick advancing right there. Logano, I'd want him to advance, but I feel like he is good enough. I feel like he is one of the top 3 right in the series right now, but I don't know. I just don't necessarily think he's not the best. I feel like Gordon is the best driver in the field at Martinsville. And I feel like Keselowski, at least recently, has had the best car, one of the best cars at least, consistently at Texas. Now, I know Logano, the Penske cars have been really good at Texas recently. So, obviously, Logano could win that one. I think it's a toss-up. But if I had to lean towards one, I'd pick Keselowski. So, that's why I'd say he's going to advance. And then Phoenix, I feel like it's kind of between Harvick and Edwards and, some of those guys. And I have to lean towards Harvick just because he's been better, he's been faster this year, I guess, than Edwards for the most part. But then this 4th spot is going to be whoever's the most consistent driver is. Ryan Newman has been extremely consistent, but I don't think he's going to quite have enough. He had enough to advance through the first two rounds, which I'm not that surprised. But I don't think now with the strength that we see out of the Gibbs cars, and you got Edwards who's going to be good at least a couple of these tracks, I'm guessing. I don't think Ryan Newman is going to have the strength that he needs. I think he's going to get maybe some 2 or 3 top 10s here. But I don't know if just top 10s each week is going to be enough anymore. You might have to go out and get a couple top 5s. And I mean, obviously winning is the best way to do it. But, not everyone can win to get in. So I don't know what you're going to do about it. I mean, if I had to pick my 4th spot, my heart says that he wants to go with Matt Kenseth. And honestly, my brain's thinking that's not a horrible pick because Matt Kenseth he's the highest average finish, leads a bunch of stat categories at Texas. He's very good there. But the Gibbs cars haven't had the greatest speed this year at the mile and a halfs. So that's why I'm like, yeah. He's been really good at Martinsville the last couple of years. The Gibbs cars have had good speed at Martinsville because you don't need much speed at Martinsville. So, yeah, I'd say, Kenseth could do good there. Same with Hamlin. Let me put both the Gibbs cars in one basket. Both Hamlin and Kenseth have been good in recent years at Martinsville and at Texas. And Phoenix, Kenseth didn't run very well there last year. Hamlin's always been kind of okay there. So either of them, I would not be surprised if one of them made it in on consistency. I'll be honest, I don't think Carl Edwards will advance. I don't think he's going to be as consistent as either Kenseth or Hamlin. The only other guy that I think really, other than Logano, I mean, it's a tough decision. I really don't know. If I had to right here, I'm just going to say it right now. 4 guys that make it in. Brad Keselowski, Jeff Gordon, Kevin Harvick, and Matt Kenseth. That's my 4. And I know everyone's like, oh, you like Matt Kenseth. Of course you're going to put him in. But you look at the statistics. Here's how you look at the statistics. Matt Kenseth finished 2nd at Martinsville last year in this race, and he finished 6th there earlier this year. He led a lot of laps in both. You look at Texas. He has 2 career wins. He's got an average finish of like 8th place. I think the next highest guy in the chase field has it's like 12th or something. So he's clearly one of the best at Texas. And if they can just get a good run at Phoenix, and that JGR has had a pretty good short track program. Phoenix isn't a short track, but it's a mile track. So it's not a super high banks fast speedway. So I think Matt Kenseth has a really good shot, and that's my thing. Obviously, I know a lot of you guys would think, oh, it's probably Joey Logano. And yeah, Joey Logano would probably be my 2nd pick just because Logano's been winning races like crazy. But I just don't know. If Logano doesn't win a race, which I don't think he's going to be able to win a race because I feel like I said, Gordon is the best at Martinsville, Harvick is the best at Phoenix, and Keselowski is the best at Texas. I just don't think Logano can break through and get a win at any of those tracks. Not saying that he won't, but I'm just saying I don't think he will. And that's why I have Logano not moving on, even though I really feel like he could. I mean, this is the worst answer to a question I've ever given. But I mean, how can you expect anyone to guess at this point? I feel like the people I'm guessing as much as you guys are. I really no idea at all. It's gonna be exciting. All right, what's this question? This is from DR34 DG38. He says, "We saw 17 cautions last year at Martinsville. How many do you think we'll see this year?" I think we'll see 18 cautions, Mr. DR34 DG38. We will see 18 cautions. You can mark my words. No, I have no idea. What's a good question? A bunch of people asking me my predictions, giving me their predictions. That's good. Another guy, Gaming Ninja 07, also asked about Kyle Busch and Austin Dillon. Like I said, don't think there's going to really be any retaliation. Oh, here's a good question from the MD Lindsley. Here's what he said. You said you like the new chase format by a 60% good to a 40% bad ratio. Others have said that NASCAR is trying too hard to compete with the playoff formats of the NBA, NFL, and other sports. Do you think that NASCAR will change the format again in the future, or do they finally have a set championship system? Let's see. Wait, what else? Yeah, and then he goes on to kind of talk about what he says. Nobody cares about your opinion. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I see what you're saying. You say that you like the format, but it does have some problems. Makes perfect sense. I think NASCAR, this is a lot of people, I mean, not a lot of people, but there's a significant amount of people out there that hate the chase. I think the chase is dumb and wish they went back to how they did it in like the 90s and early 2000s. And I mean, no, I understand why they got introduced the chase, and I think that was a really good idea for them because, I mean, you look at without the chase, you'd have guys, the last 2 or 3 races of the season may not matter because a guy would be ahead by 120 points. I mean, look at 2003 was the last year when they finally were like, yeah, we're done with this. 2003, it was Matt Kenseth. He'd clinched the point championship before they even got to the final race of the season. I mean, the final race of the season barely mattered. I mean, it was like, it didn't mean anything. So the chase obviously adds to it. But to answer your question, I'd say no, NASCAR has not, or yes, no, this is not going to be their set championship format. They will continue to change it. I feel confident that they'll keep it like this for at least 2 or 3 years. I mean, that's kind of what they've been, since they introduced the chase, it's been changed about every 3 years. So I'd say at least another 2 years, I'd say this chase will continue. And I like it. In my opinion, it is my favorite. I understand that, it can cause people like Kyle Busch, guys who I think were deserving to make it into the next round. They can cause them to get eliminated. But, it's kind of a similar aspect. Getting wrecked in a chase race kind of makes me think of if LeBron James were to not break his leg, that's kind of harsh, but like pull a hamstring in the playoffs, all of a sudden, I guess now he's a place for the Cavaliers, but like last year, if he played for the Heat and he was to get a serious injury in the playoffs, man, that'd be so bad for Miami fans, because Miami, they're so good during the regular season, but all of a sudden now their star player's injured, and now they get eliminated in the playoffs. That's kind of how I feel like. It's the type of thing you can't really control necessarily, because like wrecks in NASCAR, a lot of times it's not your fault. You just get caught up in it. Injuries, usually it's not really your fault. You just kind of happens, So people all are like, oh, it's stupid. I mean, you get wrecked and you're out, and even if it's not your fault, well, yeah, it's just harsh. It's the harsh world of sports, because like I said, if in professional sports, if your best player is to get injured in the playoffs, man, you're just out of luck, That's kind of how I think of it. But so I like this new point standings, or not, well, chase format, everything. The only thing I do not like about it, I'm not yet 100% sure if I like the way they do you win one race and you're automatically basically in the chase. Because like I said earlier in this series, I said that, I didn't really feel like A.J. Allmendinger or Eric Almirola deserved to be in the chase. I felt like Kyle Larson or someone like that was more deserving. And so far, if you look at their results in the chase, I'm obviously right. So that's the only thing I maybe like to see change. But in the end, I think this is basically going to be a solid their championship format for at least the next 2 years. I don't know if they're really going to make hardly any changes anytime real soon. What other questions do I have? That's about it. I don't have that many other questions. I'm just sorry, I'm scrolling around. This is not interesting to listen to. Alright, I got a lot of stuff. Got a lot of comments all over here. Yeah. Alright, I guess I'll finish off with this question. It's kind of just the final recap of last week's race at Talladega. From A-Man Hockey 32. How big of a wild card was this year's Talladega race, in your opinion? I think this is a good question because it kind of wraps up this whole week leading into the final round. Talladega was a big wild card, clearly. We got Kyle Busch went from basically in for sure to out. Kane went from on that edge to out. Kenseth went from on that edge to in, and Keselowski went from out to in. So definitely shook up the standings a little bit. Obviously, Johnson and Jr. got eliminated. So I'd say how big was this year's Talladega race? I think it was, compared to last year's Talladega race, I feel like last year's Talladega race was a little bit of a letdown, honestly. You didn't really see that many big stack-ups in the points. Part of that is due to the old point system. One bad race didn't mean as much as in this current point standings with everything getting reset and such. But, yeah, I feel like this was a pretty big shakeup, and I wouldn't be surprised if Martinsville shook it up just as much, just maybe in a different way, I mean, you may not be flipped over and on your roof like you would be at Talladega, but you might be spun out and in the wall and 2 laps down before you know it and have a really rough start to this round. So I'm looking forward to this round of the chase. I think that, Talladega behind us, everyone can kind of take a deep breath and just focus on, what NASCAR has been, what you've been doing all season long, which is just go out, have a strong car, hit your marks, and win, be fast. That's basically how it's going to be, and I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be back to what NASCAR is really mainly all about. None of this dramatic, what's going to happen at Talladega stuff. So I'm looking forward to it. That's my show. I will be back, of course, on Monday for the review of the race at Martinsville. So I hope you guys were looking forward to my race that I'll be uploading today, the W Cup Series Season 5, race number 7. Hope you look forward to that. It should be good. Should be exciting. Hopefully it's just as exciting as last week's Talladega race was. And that's all I have to talk about. I guess I'm done. Let's see if I can clean this up really quick. Got a lot of video editing to do ahead of me today, so I better get on to it. Bye.